All right. So 31 open pull requests. Okay. So at work, you're not gonna see 31 because one will come and the other one will, they will try to march sooner than later because that can cause a lot of bigger, merge conflict, which will require a lot of, careful decisions in terms of what code to be, chosen and what code that you don't want to include in your pull request. So, so let's go ahead and start. So MD has his one. This is so normally, and I'm going to talk about best practices. So if I'm telling you that you should add description, that doesn't mean you didn't do your homework. It's just that I'm going to be just talking about how we should be creating pull requests. So on the description, you should always write what you did, how many test cases, and also if your test passed or failed. So you definitely want to, provide a screenshot on your description that your test cases passed. Most of the time, you're going to be running all of your test cases as part of the changes that you're making. Even if you added one test case, you're going to be running the entire suite just to make sure you didn't cause any failure to any other test cases. With this one, I'm not gonna approve this pull request for two reasons. Is that this is, I think, meant for the conflict situation we had last week. So I'm gonna go ahead and say merge conflict. Please update. Right, I'm just gonna write the message. So you can choose to remove the merge conflict, and then we can go from there. All right, let's see this one also similar. So some of the conflict ones, I'm probably gonna go ahead and close those, unless you guys meant for this homework. I don't think so. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it. And then we have this one also comes with, okay, this one doesn't, okay, no, this is the same. Let's go into this one, same thing, merge conflict. I'm gonna close it.
So, Jewel, I think most of this is going to emerge conflict because you told us to create a pull request and add it to the issue. So none of this stuff that you see shouldn't be ours, according to other homework.
So
So
you shouldn't, yeah, exactly. You
yeah,
shouldn't have merge conflict, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
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 I'm
none
just
of this is ours.
closing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just closing
got it.
pull request that has merge conflict because I think this is from the last week.
Yep.
Yeah, if you feel like that wasn't the case, then we can reopen. But let's first look at it. So this one doesn't have merge conflict. Let's see test for demo. This is from Jadul. I just want to see if he
Yep.
created. So he created his one list pages back, whatever. Let's see, add
So
it there. Mm-hmm.
because our pull request is connected to the issue we created. So yeah, this is
Right.
the one new one.
Mm-hmm. So for this one, I can see that he did follow the pattern here, right? Where if I go to the list of issues, okay, that's a test and that's a test. So I was expecting to see page object, pattern. So I'm gonna say, please follow POM for now, and then I'm not gonna approve it, so you guys can, continue to work on it. So just look out for my message. Start this and same thing for this. And trust me, at work, if they will not approve, right? And they're not gonna even say, oh, maybe we should approve for the time being, and they're not gonna do that. Okay, so this one is request a change, and you would be able to make changes as you need. Okay, and go back to the other field request. This is the new task. This is from Alina. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna close this because I think this is the test one. So this is an empty pull request. Let me ask you guys a question. How many here feels really comfortable pushing and pulling code at this point?
Me.
Okay, who else?
I feel comfortable.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, same.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm also 99%, 1%.
Oh, nice. Okay. Farah, Fabio, Galina, Giano, Gaito, Laho.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I feel
replied.
comfortable.
I said me first.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, good. Because at the end of the day, you know, if you like GitHub is a very small topic to talk about, but again, it is a big one because you're not gonna be able to pull and push code, and you're gonna feel afraid every time, you know, you're doing any sort of work. So at least this will be very much handy when it comes about doing this kind of pull requests. And the other thing is, if you don't know something, you'll be afraid of it. Like, you know, you're not going to be able to even learn on the fly. You need to know the basics. And this, everything that I taught so far is probably more on the basic side. And the learning and becoming pro is going to be coming from the experience. And that's why like the homework is so much important for you to do, so that way you can at least learn from experience. All right, so then this is another demo one, and okay, so we did ask for change request, conflict. I'm gonna go ahead
So
and
in
close
real-time
it.
project, we will have one branch which everybody will merge. Like, I mean, not everybody, like master or main branch, right? So like the
Correct.
developer or maybe the Scrum Master will check the code that we change, or maybe there's any bug that we fixed, right? And then they will check our branch, and then they will check our branch, and they will merge it to the main, right? Is that right?
Well, you will merge it because somebody will approve and you will merge it. You'll go and say, "Oh, I got approval," and you're gonna go ahead and merge it yourself.
But
merging
my
is gonna
question
be
is, my question is like, so we are gonna fix the issue in a separate branch, not in master branch, right? Right? Okay.
Yeah, you will never ever directly commit to master. So two things. One is that if you do happen to directly push to master, it will immediately stop you. So you're not gonna be able to push it. But if there is, like, let's say you have admin access because you're the first QA engineer and they gave you admin, it doesn't mean you're gonna continue to push it on the master, right? Each changes should have their own branch, so that way you can actually copy this pull request and put it into your ticket, like you guys did, right? So if I go to the issues and I can see, if I open this issue, for example, and I can see that there should be like, you know, as you can see right here, is part of the change, right? So you can actually link it, and whether it's Jira, whether it's Microsoft DevOps, you know, ADO, Azure DevOps, no matter what tool you use, you will still be able to link the pull request. And this is gonna be your proof that you worked on something, right? So even if you join as a contractor and they want you to create like some sort of like, you know, report for the month, you will have to still include the pull request to show that you actually worked on something. Okay. And it's very much going to be like, you know, you join as a QA engineer, you don't have a pull request for the first month, the entire month, and that's already like a red flag, right? So usually they give you like a week or two, like, okay, we want to see a pull request. If they're really pushing, they will say, okay, I want to see a pull request, especially if your manager, if the QA manager is very technical, he's going to ask for a pull request. Whether you make a small change or big change, doesn't matter. He's still going to want to see a pull request. You'd also want to feel really comfortable working. So you definitely want to create the pull request, even if it's a small change, and you tell them like, I'm just pushing my first pull request, just be, you know, kind with the review, and they will just review it once you merge it, and then you know the norm. Now you know exactly how they're looking to get their pull request, whether the naming conventions, the title of the pull request, the name of the branch, all of that you'll learn with your first pull request. And you're not going to learn just by you thinking what it should be. You're going to be asking, hey, what is the naming? How do you guys name your branch? What is, and they said, oh, it doesn't matter. Then you follow what I taught you guys, right? What I actually showed you guys. If they said, okay, here is a specific way we write our names of the branch, then you're going to follow that. You're going to say, hey, in the description, typically how you guys, do it. And then you can also do it exactly how they do it. But I guess the easiest way for you to learn is that as soon as you get access to the GitHub account, the next thing you want to do, you want to go to pull request and see who's pushing their code and what kind of changes they're making. So you can go into that and you can say, oh, okay, this is how they did it. I can see the branch name. This is the way that I'm going to follow it too. I'm going to also add the description here. And then let me see what kind of changes he's making. And you can see, oh, okay, he's doing, let's say, in this case, flat file, right? Meaning he's writing everything on the same spec file, right? So if they're doing it already, you might as well do it too. You don't want to be the person who's all of a sudden want to change everything. So you can start doing it the way that they do it initially. And then you can suggest and say, hey, I feel like, we're going to be reinventing wheels every time when we write a test. So let's start following page object patterns. And you can advocate for that, slowly bring the change, but don't become the hero in the first month. Just follow the way that they work, basically. Now, if you are the only QA, then obviously you're going to have to follow what I'm showing you guys, right? So nobody can raise the question like, why did you do it this way? So you can follow the best practices from the day one. Okay, and obviously, like when you first join, you're going to get this link, right? And from there on, you're going to click on this, and then you can actually post it in your on your VS Code in order to clone the repository. In addition to that, you can use GitHub Desktop if you download it. If you click on this, your GitHub Desktop will immediately clone it for you. So that's another way for you to clone. But there is at least 4 different ways to clone. You can even download zip, which I do not recommend because it does not connect your repository to this remote branch. So when you push and pull, you're not going to be able to do that. So zip is like if you're...
What did you click to get that pop-up? Sorry.
Right here, code.
Okay, thank you.
You can even use Git CLI, which gives you the code. Okay, so if you have CLI, you can actually go ahead and do it. I think there's another option here you'll get versus download it to VS Code. There's another option, which I don't have because I'm not a company. I don't have a subscription.
What is CLI? Git CLI?
So like basically commands, right? You're going to be able to write commands that GitHub understands. Okay, so if you have Git CLI on your computer, all you have to do is type these commands, and it will automatically download the branch, basically download the repository to your computer. Okay, so far, I can see that you guys are pretty comfortable pushing the PRs. I can see that most of you guys did well. I do see the flat files, which needs to be page object pattern. So I'm not gonna go ahead and push this. Obviously, these are not gonna create any issues as everybody worked on their own file. So we're gonna go ahead and merge all of that, but I want to give you guys the opportunity at this moment because this is the practice, okay? And this is the practice that I want to follow. Now, all these pairs that we have, right? And you guys will have access to each other, okay? That means you can choose a reviewer, okay? So let's say Shazad is here. He can pull request review by Tamim, okay? And then anybody that he wants to choose, okay? So now, this is what I want people to do. I want you to be a reviewer of somebody else other than your work. Okay, this is gonna be the next homework before we even get to the homework. Sorry, before we even get to today's class. Okay, so I just want people to understand because this is exactly the kind of practices that you're gonna get at work too, and this is a very important part of the pull request. So what I need for you guys to do is that you go into this reviewer section right here, and you have these people right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 8 of us, right? Exclude me from it. So you're gonna have 8 of us excluding me, and you'll choose a person. You can choose multiple person here, right? So like for example, for him, I can request Tamim, and then I will also request like Jaidul at this point, right? So we got 2 people that can review his work, but if one of them did it, then he doesn't have to. So you can actually request multiple people to review your work. I want everyone to check for a few things. I want to make sure that everybody follow the page object pattern for their test. So all of the tests that it was written needs to be page object the way that we did initially. And then and if everything looks good to you, there is no recommendation, then you can approve. But if there is, I want you to go ahead and approve, write comments. So now with that said, let's see. So everybody has access to their own pull request, right now?
Yep.
Okay. So this is what I need you to do is that I'll give you guys the next 5 minutes. So 7:26 until 7:26 or 27. I want you to choose the person, and don't choose everybody like the same person, choose more than one, like 2 or 3 people. Okay, and then go ahead and assign them the review. Once that is done, we're going to be back, and then we're going to review. Each of you guys will have 10 minutes to review the pull request. And obviously, like if you did like 2 reviews already and you have time, you can do somebody else's review. But if you, if you're just still going on to 1 pull request, then, you can just focus on that. By the 10 minutes, which is like right now is 7:22, by like 7:35, everybody should have a reviewer on their pull on their what's that called? PRs, right? And each of you guys, so let's say if you become the reviewer of this person, I want you to also write on the conversation, just write a message to say, I will review this, so somebody else will not have to take it, So just say, I will review this, right? This, and write a comment. And if you see this message onto a pull request, do not write the message that is already taken. Every single pull request should have a review at this point, a comment by each others. Okay, so you guys have 5 minutes to do that. Also, if somebody is not asking or requesting, you can still go to the list of the pull request and you can choose. So each of you guys should have a list, at least bare minimum, 3 to 4 reviews. Okay, 2 things to review, and that's going to be done later anyways. So for now, just go ahead and get your assignment.
So can I ask one more question? So if I'm on this page and I want, because I assign some of my stuff to you, how do I know which how do I check like what's assigned to me, if you don't mind me, beside the email address?
Okay, so like for example here, right? And like for example, your name is here, right? That you're gonna review. But that's not the way that we want, because we don't know if you're gonna review or not, right? It's being requested, but you didn't accept, right? So what you can do, you can basically type here to say, I will review this, so another person knows that this PR is taken. Okay.
So what I'm asking, if you go to the back, okay, from this page, how do I know what's assigned to me? Because I don't want to go to every single one of them and see what's assigned to me, or look at the email.
Right.
Is there any way to
let's
filter?
see, reviews.
Okay.
Okay, let me see, reviewed by, not reviewed by you, awaiting review from, right? So when you see awaiting review from, you can see the name assignment, okay? And then go
Okay.
ahead and remove the extra name. So that way you can actually filter it to see who's gonna review or not. So this one I can see one issue. Okay, so these are the issue, but then this is the assignee, right? So go ahead and assign the review. So assign it to, oh, okay. No, never mind. This
One
is,
question.
let me see. Mhm.
Are you going to get like any notification if somebody requested for you? I mean, there is any message or anything that would
There's
be
email going on. Every time
Yeah,
you send
the email will be
somebody.
automatically sent.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to see assignee at least one for each of the PR, and it shouldn't be two people. We can remove the other. If you commit to it, write a message and then go ahead and put you as a assignee. Okay, so at least a bare minimum, each of you guys should have 3 to 4. Okay, so 7:30 we'll be resuming the class. In the 5 minutes time, let's everybody get the assignments. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just include that. Just go ahead and review the PR because I don't think it should take longer time, right? I mean, let's say you come in here, right? You go to the code and you already see what's wrong with it. Like just see, I mean, the test looks fine, right? But then you see that obviously it's not page object, right? That's when you can actually write your comment. And then you're gonna go ahead and say request change. Please follow page object. Okay. So each of you guys should be assigned to a PR, and just go ahead and not only that, just look for any obvious issues that you can find, and then review it. Once that is done, then we'll start our class. So you guys have up to 7:35, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it takes. Okay.
I have another question, Joel.
Yep. Go ahead.
So for example, I have 4 tickets, right? They're all
Mhm.
I use a page object model, and the first one contains all the actions and the locator files, right? So should I put on the comment, please? Because not all of them are contain action locator, just the first one, because they're basically
Okay.
sharing the action locator file. So should I put in the comment, just say, hey, please review them in order, ticket order number? Because
Yeah,
for example,
definitely.
okay.
So look, everybody, I want you to be critical when you review it. Don't just say, okay, pass, 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 everything is good. I want you to be critical. So if you see, like, for example, on my screen, you can see a comment right here. You're gonna say, please remove this comment. It's not needed, right? Unless it's like required. For example, this comment, I don't see, like, you can say something like this. This comment can be removed. I don't see the value to keep it here, right? For example. So this comment doesn't add any value unless, of course, the comment is actually, something related to the test, like, something like a note for people to follow. Then it's different. So anything that you notice, just be as critical as possible. So that way, at least there is a back and forth. What's going to happen next is that the person's PR that you're reviewing will make the change based on what you ask to change. He will send you the pull request back to you, and you're going to approve it. And then it's going to merge. I'm trying to simulate the real world, back and forth, right? Between QA engineer and another QA engineer at work. Okay, once we do that, the changes can be done as part of the homework. So you don't have to worry about changing things right now, fixing it and sending it out. You can only criticize other people's work at this moment, you know, just be a really good tester at this moment. And they have to, right? They have to make the change. So I'm gonna see like what kind of comment was done, and then if the other person made the change or not. Because at work, you're not gonna say, no, this is how I want it. This is what should be. If somebody's giving you a recommendation and it is matching with the current, you know, coding standard or the current flow of working, or whatever flow they follow at work, you have to do the same. And you should never be, you know, mad for somebody criticizing your work. You should always thank them to say, hey, thanks for pointing this out. I'm gonna be updating based on your request. And there are cases where at work you'll see that one QA engineer will come and review it and say, wow, it's good. And the other QA engineer will say, hey, you're missing this, or can you add this? And you'll be super annoyed, like, what? Why is she doing this to me? But you want to be reasonable. You want to make sure that that person who's requesting change is valid. Then you're going to say, hey, thanks for finding this issue. I will go ahead and fix it and then send you over. That's it. That's the way we're going to work. We're never going to be, you know, taking it as is. The moment you push your code, the first push is never done. It's never done. That means you may end up pushing a couple more times based on the reviews, based on the comments that they will make. And that's all the time, even my code. Sometimes my pull request gets 20 reviews because people are so critical. And I have to make 20 different changes because maybe I was being lazy. I just want to push my, you know, code and get it over with. And then I'll have to make the changes because people are, you know, they don't want to let go of things. Okay, 7:31. I should see if okay, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, and then you guys can talk to each other through the WhatsApp group if there is any issues. In terms of, let's say a person is not updating the test based on your recommendation. Obviously, what is a good practice? Whatever we did in the class so far, if somebody's not following that, you can point it out and they should be following it. And only then you'll approve. So the next class will be here. All of them should be approved by the reviewer, all of them. So if you are getting reviewed by another person, it's your responsibility to satisfy the other person, whoever is going to be the reviewer, in order to get the approval. Okay, just let me know when you guys are done. I think, you know, I can see most of it is done. We got like few left. One here is completely empty, and then one here, and then we have 3 more. So if you don't have anything to review, please take it. You want to criticize another pull request for sure. So make sure you take it. Okay, so by now everybody should have at least there, right? I mean, and then let's see, this one got 2 messages. That means please use POM. Okay, that's fine. 1 review got. So make sure, like, you know, again, if somebody wrote the comment already for review, you don't have to review that. But if you see another pull request, like for example, this one sign-in page, I don't see any comments. So this is done by Galina. So somebody take this and write a, if you don't have something to review, please review the work. So this one is empty. So I don't know, Galina, you need to see why empty pull requests are being pushed. Is it empty for sure? Oh, no. There is something, but it's okay. Okay. So if it's completely empty, make sure you also write a review and say, hey, why is it empty? Please add the test. So all of these pull requests should be taken by now. I should see comments, right? Based on your review. Shouldn't take more than 2 minutes per review, guys. Each of you guys should have 4 items to review at a minimum right now.
So in case I assign to somebody they're not reviewing, can I just assign to somebody else?
Your stuff. So see, people that are here right now, they should be taking 4 items. Okay, let me ask, because if that's not the case, then okay. So Tamim, you got 4 items already reviewed, correct?
Then I reviewed it. They're just my comments. So I'm not sure if they're
No,
reviewed or
you
not.
just this is a change request, right? So you basically reviewed. You looked into it and you saw the problem. You wrote it
Yes,
right
yes,
here to say,
yes.
please update this. Okay, that's the review. And
Okay.
then you have to basically select change, like, you're requesting change. That's the
I did
that's
that.
what
I
you
did
got to
that.
select. Okay.
I
Okay.
did that.
So you did 4 of them. Okay. Farah, did you do 4?
I don't think anything is assigned to her. Maybe, I don't know.
No, you don't have to be assigned. You look at it, pull request. If you don't see a comment,
Okay.
if you don't see a change request like this, especially I'm looking for something like this.
Yeah, sorry, I was
see-
on mute.
No
I
worries.
signed 1 by Lahul and I already commented on it.
Okay. So go ahead and, like each of you guys choose 4. Okay. And if you see where it says change requested, which is this icon and there is a message, that's
Mhm.
what you need to put, because that's how you want the changes to be done. Galina, do you have 4 of them? Did you review 4 items?
No, not yet.
Okay. Let's find 4, and you can always see which one doesn't have this comment. Obviously, the comment section, that means these are still waiting to be reviewed. Okay, and make sure everybody gets approval from the reviewer. You can message them directly to say, hey, I saw your comment. Can you approve it? I already made the change, something like that. So when the changes is done, make sure you reach out to the reviewer to say, hey, can you approve it? And once it's approved, you can merge it, right? And I should see by the next homework, or sorry, next class, I should see most of your pull requests is merged because somebody reviewed it. And you also followed if there's any comments that they had. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna start the class for today. Today we're gonna write a new test, and I'm gonna ask you to do the same thing. So I'm gonna show you first, and then you'll have 20 minutes to write the same test case for another website. Okay. Let me go ahead and open. And obviously, everybody's going to use the same exact branch. You don't have to move forward. You can create a new branch name and then push your code. Let's look at the requirement first. Okay, I'm going to create a requirement real quick, and you go from there. Okay, so feature, for example, verify all the links in our, let's say, request or in our home page. Ensure all links work as expected. Right now, if I was to automate this, I want to explore the idea. By the way, you guys can do your pull request review even after this, because that's part of the homework. So I'm not gonna go into that. Now, let's just focus on the class for the moment. So that way we can write a test and you guys can write a test as well. So if I was to go ahead and create a task, that's gonna just go ahead and verify each link in the home page. Give me a rough idea, how would you do it? Okay, I'm gonna start calling out names. Okay, Lahul, how would you do this?
Repeat the question. Bhaiya.
So you have a web page, right? Let's say we call home page, for example. In that website, in the home page, you want to verify every single links if they work as expected. So let's say you got 600 links on the home page, and that's not unusual, right? 600 links, especially if you're an Amazon website, the homepage of Amazon, you'll see, and we might just go ahead and test Amazon, right, today. So 600 links. What ways would you be able to test every single link? I'm gonna give you guys option. Option 1, you first gather all the links, okay, and visit using, remember, get method or go to method, and see if page displays one at a time. That's your option 1. Option 2. I want to give you option 2. How does option 1 sound? Not yet. I'm not gonna give you guys option 2 just yet.
Option 1, so basically gather all the links, right? You said I could do it in one test cases.
So let's say gathering all the links is basically you have a list in, okay, let's say list in a Excel sheet. Okay. Now, how do you like the option 1? What are some of the challenges that you may face in option 1?
So, I mean, I personally would like go by test scenario, for example, Amazon, right? I will first test all the, headers or the hamburger menu. That could be one of the way I do it. And second one, so this way, if there's any changes to certain thing, I can just go, hey, this is where the change is happening. Make sure that the link's not broken, it's working. That's one of the way I would have done it. But I have to make sure I gather all the links first by code gen.
So,
Okay.
Joe, is there a way we can somehow use like a loop method or something? Because if all these links are listed in the Excel sheet, there should be a logic for us to tell the computer to automatically choose the second link, choose the third link, choose the fourth link. So,
Okay.
could there not be a mechanism where we can put them in a loop form or something like that?
Well, you guys tell me, because you guys are the, we're gonna be writing code. It depends how easy you want to do or how hard you want to, like, do we want to work hard or do we want to work smart? That would be the question. And depending on that, we're going to choose option 1, option 2, option 3. I haven't even talked about option 2, but let me add more complexity so that way we can talk about option 2. So now we got 600 links. Sometimes links will change because they come from the vendor. Okay. So you follow option 1, for example, and you know the list, you got the list, whatever, you gathered the list. What could be the challenges with this? Aside from knowing what the links are and all, and forget about URL parameters, also URL param will change based on clicks. Right? So option 1 at this moment, since we added this complexity, is no longer gonna be helpful. Okay, because Option one is manual work at this moment. Really, it's manual work, meaning even though you're gonna visit using, your Playwright one at a time, the problem that you will face is that, oh, day two, link number 530, it's not working, okay? Or, oh, day three, link number, 400 is misplaced and now it's in the different position, okay? At day five, link was rearranged, okay? And now knowing Amazon, the links always rearranged based on different, days of the, I guess whatever, right? Product images and the links to the product itself will change based on different preferences that the customer will log in. So option one is no longer going to work for us, okay? And that's why let's talk about option two. And this is an interview question. So you'll probably have to, focus a little bit here. So option two is that Farah mentioned, we will use Playwright to get all the links, okay, dynamically, for example, from the web page. The moment we land there, right? That's one. Obviously, we're going to verify we're on the right page before we do that, remember? Now, then we have to store these somewhere. Okay, so we have options to store. You can store them in Excel, but it makes no sense, right? Because it's coming every time, right? So it's not for you to go ahead and do an Excel. It's not going to be very efficient. So we're going to have two ways to do it. One is array. And in array, we're going to be able to temporarily list all of the links. The other one is going to be hash, okay? Hash map, let's say, where we will also temporarily store all these URLs. So let's say in the first option, array, the way array works is like this, okay? It's going to be like URL one, the first URL, comma, the second URL, comma, and so on, right? So all the 500 of them, just like this. It's going to be stored just like this temporarily. Hash map, the way it's going to be working is that you have, it's going to be something like this, where one, let's say URL one, two, and it's going to be URL two, right? Oh. And it's going to be stored just like that, okay? So keyword and the value. So you can actually find data based on the numbers, like which URL you want to visit. This one, you are going to be able to find everything in order, the order in which you will create the array. So in our case, we don't care about numbering them. We only care about, making sure that we have everything stored, and we're gonna just follow the same order. Like, the first time we'll visit the first link, second time we're gonna visit the second link, and continue to do it so until we know that all of them works. Okay, that's your second option. What is the third option? How many people so far? Okay, so like between 1 and 2, which one you guys want at this moment?
2.
2 looks good.
2.
Okay, that's an interview question, so make sure. Option 3, where you don't store anything, okay? You work with Playwright, which is a bit more, the Playwright will collect all the links for you, right? And when Playwright returns, it will return an array. Okay, the data type Playwright will return is an array. Okay, and then all you have to do, follow the same thing, right? Where you would go 1, element in an array at a time and verify. Okay, so this is where you can actually store yourself one at a time from the web page. And this is going to be Playwright. Also, there is a method that actually gives you the way to get multiple elements. Okay, and each element, once you get it, there is a complexity. Obviously, here you get the URL right away. But when Playwright stores the elements, you have to still abstract the URL. So what you will have to do next is that from the element, you'll have to get your URL. You'll have to abstract URL, for example. So now that you have access to elements, each one of them, you're going to iterate through them one at a time. You're going to find the URL, you're going to visit, and so on. So there's an extra step here, but so more or less, it's like option 2 and 3 is very similar. So option 2 and 3 you can go with, but you can also use Playwright built-in feature to deal with your deal with this kind of complexity. Okay. Any question? Everybody understand?
A little bit.
Somewhat, but if you show it to us, we'll probably have a better idea what's going on here.
Hands-on would
okay.
be helpful, I guess.
Yes.
Joel, I have another question for you.
Mhm.
So, you know, option 1, option 2, and option 3, right? We got it. Option 2 and option 3 are the most, you know, logical way to approach it. I'm thinking, what if we use the page object model concept here, store all the links are given, right? The 600 links are given to us. Can we not store them in a page object, in a page, right? Or in a file and name it like data value file or something like that and write a function for it? Or I'm just not, I'm trying to
So
understand.
page object is given, right? You would have to, whenever you get an opportunity, page object is a must, right?
Okay.
Especially for any automation.
Okay.
So that's something is already, we need to always, like when you write a test, it should never be now. I mean, obviously in the beginning, we wrote it to understand, but now you should not settle for just a single file and I'm done. You know, you shouldn't call that done.
Okay.
So page object is going to be necessary.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's start by creating, and I'm gonna push that file. So let's start by creating the feature. I'm gonna create the flat, and then you guys will clean up my test later, if needed. So let's say test for broken links, and you can probably apply this to any page because each page will have their own links. Stack.js. Okay, and so the first thing first, obviously, we're gonna need the structure const. Okay. Let's go ahead and just get the structure from here somewhere. We just need the import and the test. So I'll just go ahead and copy these. Didn't copy it. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna.
Jewel,
why
you
is it
put
not
under
copying?
the folder, feature folder that was created, not under test.
Oh, somebody created a folder here. Okay. Hold on, I gotta move it up. Okay. Okay, perfect. Example test right there. This is what I need. Control-C. Okay. So whenever you write tests, obviously you want to see what kind of data you're dealing with. So let's see. First, I'm going to change the name of the test. Test verify all links on Amazon is working, for example. And once you do that, then we have to get all the links. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all the links first, and I'm going to go ahead and print them out. to show you that it's actually grabbing all the links, okay? Gotta go to Amazon. Let's see how many links is in there to begin with. And the only way we'll know if we write a program, right? To kind of count. Okay, so this is your Amazon. Now then the next thing is we're gonna go to playwright.dev, right? Because we don't want to do everything from either Google searching or ChatGPT, whatever the case, because Playwright is gonna give us the best possible options, right? So let's see, it's called $, I believe, if I can remember. So this is element handle. Okay. So you'll see yourself, okay, so we're gonna use locator. We're gonna be using $. So I wanna introduce you guys today to $, and $. Okay. So when we use the $, what happens versus locator? As you can see, the return type is an array when you use $. Okay. And so this method finds all elements with S, okay? Matching the specific selector in the element handle subtree. If no element match, it returns an empty array. How many people here do not know what is an array? I showed you how it looks like. It's just array just stores value for you, right? And it stores in the same order in which you're storing. Okay. Any question on the array? Okay, so it's telling me that I can use $, and $. So this method find n element, just one element. So when you say page dot $$ versus single $, is that one is for a single element and one is for multiple. Okay. So that's a good one. Since we're already getting an array back, we don't have to do extra work to create the array. So that's great. Now on Amazon, how do we identify a link? What is one way for you to say definitely, you know, okay, what is one thing common between all the links on a web page? All of it. What are some common things here? So if I want a comment locator, because remember, if I use $, it will return all the matching elements, right? All the matching elements. And if that is the case, what is the locator we should use to get all the matching elements for links?
Harv?
Hmm?
The href, that one, the link.
Some of
locator?
them will not have href. Some will have, some will not. Okay, so let's see some links, okay? So that way we can see the common things, right? So if I click on, let's say this is a link, correct? How do I know this is a link? Who can tell me? We talked about it. Today's deal is a link. How do I know it's a link? It looks like a button from here, right? From the UI. But how do I know it's a link?
It says right on the role link.
Okay, aside from that, also, you can look at the HTML tag, right? So what does a link will always use what tag? You guys see it on your computer right now.
Is the
On your
A
screen.
tag?
A tag, right? A tag will be used for all the link. Okay, A tag will be used all of the link. Okay, so we still have to, like, sometimes developers will use A tag for buttons and it doesn't have a link. associated with it, but we still need to, like, sometimes href is not there. The only time the link will go somewhere if we click on it. So that's another thing to consider. So now if we know a tag is the one, I can test it and see how many links in here. Okay, so if I do a tag right here, it comes a lot because it's not just you know, it's not only checking for links, it's also anything that has a in it will probably also return, unfortunately. But that's how the, you know, let's see if I can differentiate this. But essentially we have to use the a tag. As you can see, navigation bar still shows the link, but if there is no link, you know, so but if I click on it, it'll go somewhere, right? So if you want to, you know, technically click on all the links in a web page, that's the way we're going to be doing it. So let's go back to our code. So now that we know the locator, what is the locator we'll use? Guys, what is the locator we will use? Await page dot double, right? What is the locator that goes here? Right?
Select.
Double sign, remember we talked about a single and double. Okay, so if that is the case, now we just go ahead and print this and see what just happened. Before I print it, I can say links dot length maybe to see how many there is. I can say console dot. This is when you want to print something that you want to make sure. And we can just get rid of this. So I'll go ahead and run it. Test for, oh, test for broken. Links dot spec dot js. Oh, I should have done the, okay, it's fine. So notice it has 421. Okay, so I can say something like this. I'm going to introduce you guys to a new thing right here. Okay, so this is how you also print some statement with it, okay? You know what this is, right? This is not a comma or up comma, whatever is the. This is located on the top of your tab. I forgot the name of this. It's right next to the. It's basically on the tilde top. If you look at the keyboard, and on the top of the keyboard is the option. Okay. Now, if I go ahead and run it, I don't need to see the browser because, you know, so it says on the page is only 24 links is because maybe it's too fast, right? So we got to put some sort of a weight or something, some sort of weight here. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe apply the, inspect, maybe wait for a title or something. This is the script. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for this thing. Since it's an ID. Okay, how do I wait for this thing, guys? You guys wrote the test. Somebody walk me through. Await. Page, right?
Dot locator
Dot locator.
inside the parentheses. Then it is
Okay.
ID, then you can use the hashtag. All
So
the
if it's an
arguments.
ID, we can use hashtag, okay. Okay,
Then,
and then
yeah.
wait for right. Yeah, you guys have to remember this. Okay,
Mm.
so it's just before doing the links and stuff, we're just waiting for the box to show up. That means we can consider the whole page loaded. Because initially it was a lot of links and then it was only 24 after, so that's kind of suspicious to me. Okay, now it's 414. So notice like the links are changing as we visit each time and the count is changing. So you can never automate and kind of like do it manually because it's gonna be third-party links that companies associated with. You know, things will change overnight and you shouldn't be you know, relying on those kind of things. Okay. Okay, why is it hanging?
I think
Let's
the
see,
line
because
was,
there you go.
You,
I think
Amazon
Amazon
you
is
finished the
also,
line.
yeah,
There we go.
Okay. So now, by the way, with the semicolon, without the semicolon, it will work. It's just gonna take longer. If you don't put semicolon, because it doesn't know. It takes time to think whether you're done or not with the line. So best practice would be like putting the semicolon, but if you don't put it, it will still work. Okay, so now we know 420 links are in there. Okay. Any question? So now we have to get we have to print one at a time, right? We have to basically, let's say, you know, we want to get through each one of them and then go ahead and print the link, you know? So how many people did some practice on JavaScript? What do you think the next course of action should be here? Okay. We have variation of loops. We have various loops basically that we can use. Okay. The newer version of JavaScript, we can actually use directly. We can use the array. So we don't have to say for this I is equal to this. I is not necessary because you can actually say just go as much as this. So if it has 400, it will go as much as this. That's it. Why do we need I? Is because you want to count that you went through the loops or not. So in this case, you can use the new syntax of JavaScript, which is you can say something like this, const. So instead of the link, let's say each one, I'm going to call them singular link. Okay. Const link of links. Okay. This close, open. Okay. So far you can see links is being used. Link is not being used. Okay. So now the next thing, each one of them, obviously I wouldn't want to call them links just yet because this is still an element, right? All of the elements. So I'm going to change the names a little bit. Okay. Elements. That means all of the elements in the page that are typed links. So I'm going to give it a relative name, link elements, right? So that means we still don't have the link yet. Okay. And then I'm going to call this one a single element, right? So single is basically link element. And this is your multiple, right? So Control C. Okay, so we're saying in this, we're gonna basically each one, this is gonna iterate, right, for loop. So the first iteration, this hold the value of something. So what we want to get from the link is that we want to probably get the href, okay, which is the actual link. So if I want to get the href, I can say await page dot. How do we get the href? Maybe we can go in here. Get attribute of the value, right? I think get. Okay. So let's see how that. Select an option. No, not this. Get value. To have value. No. Okay. I can. See. Okay, get attribute will work. Want to make sure. Okay, get attribute. So you're gonna say get attribute of each one of them, and you have to specify what kind of attribute. Okay. So page dot. Righty. Let's see this one. Instead of saying page, it's gonna be link element. So each one, right? So we're gonna say link element. Oh, my keyboard. Okay. I wait. Link element. You're going to get attribute. So now notice like get attribute is working. If I say link elements, the get attribute is not going to work because that's the array and this is like one of the element from this array. Okay. And so now we can say what we want from it. So if in a single code, we can say like href. Okay. And some of them will not have href as we saw it online. So we'll have to handle that in a bit, right? So we can say like some sort of even else, like if href is there, then we'll do this and we'll do that. So like before we even do that, maybe like just go ahead and print it, you know, so that way we can kind of understand how it works. And then we'll handle the situation. So log, and I can say, fine, okay, href, just go ahead and print the href for now and see how this works. And then we'll move forward. We have to handle situations where href is not even there. Total, okay. What happened, guys? How do I fix this line number 8? Line number 8, I see an error.
I think it's instead of links, it should be link elements.
Yep. Control C. Control V. Okay. Keep using control, even though on Mac. That's okay. So that's that. So far, if you're not with me, you're absolutely fine to let me know so I can explain what just, you know, how we're going to be doing. As you can see, all the links were printed and you can see gigantic links too. Okay. All of it is printed here, all the href. So in this website, it happened to be partial, meaning like the base URL is not here. So we'll have to add that in order for us to test if the link works or not. Okay. You see like nabs, null. Okay. So now we have to handle whether it's empty, like for example, hashtag, and you know, if it doesn't have a value, then how do we handle that? So we have to also come up with this. You see like some nonsense here. These we don't want to include. We have to filter out at this moment. Okay. So, okay. So basically, we're going to also use Playwright built-in way to handle like sending requests. Basically, we can actually do get requests. We don't have to go ahead and and visit the website physically. We can do it through API also, that we can actually do today. Now, first we have to filter them out, right? So I can say if, okay, href. So now we have to put some logic in it. Now we're doing some programming, guys. If it doesn't have any, right? If that is the case, so first, this will automatically remove any empty ones, because if that means if it's true, only then, like for example, if this one is true, only then move on to here, then we'll do further filtering. So in this case, we already filtered some stuff. X. X, B, okay. So in this if and else, we already went ahead and filtered some stuff, right? But I can see that there are unwanted things, like for example, we got just numbers. No, this is part of this one, but we see like that we want to go ahead and remove the hash. All right, and then what else do we have? Let me just make this bigger so I can get a better idea of the URLs, how they look like. Okay, and I'm probably gonna be getting out of the Amazon, because all of the links are third party. So we don't know exactly if the what is the base URL for those links, right? Unless you work for the company. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to another website and then use that as an example. So I'm gonna go and switch real quick. So let's say insurance demo. Again, why I chose this is because it has a lot of links. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this and change the base URL here, because again, the reason is because Amazon is going to be difficult at some point, since we're testing their live application. It's going to be annoying for them and for us. Okay, so we got that here. We just have to change this to wait for. So maybe I'll wait for something in here, maybe contact us. So I'll inspect this, find an ID somewhere that has a class, banner. I can even wait for the body, whatever is the case. Request a code, probably the better idea to go with. So I'll just wait for this guy, request a code, but then there is more than request. Let's see. There should be just one, okay. Okay, then I will say text is equal to this, and that's it. Let's see how this one looks like when we run it before we even go there. Okay, wait for request a code is not found. So let's see what happened. Trig violation locator this resolved to 2 elements. So what did I do here? Lahul, what is the mistake here that we made?
It says we need to fix like 2 elements.
What does that mean? How do we fix this? Or how do
There
we
could
fix
be more than one has request a code on that page. So you have to use a different selector, maybe ID.
Small, I think.
So if you
Okay.
go to the inspect page and if you search request a code, they'll pop up more than one. So you need to get something, a locator that has only single.
Okay, let's see. So that's the issue with the locator, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So you have to
we
find a
see there
different
is a
locator.
class get a code. Maybe I'll use get a code. Okay, so copy this. Change that to dot this, get a code. Hopefully this one doesn't have multiple. If it does, it's okay. We're learning. We just want to see how we're handling difficult situations here. Oh, okay. So this apparently this is one of a kind in the page, so it worked. So this is a little bit more cleaner. So I don't want to give you guys an example where it has so many large links and it's unbearable. Okay. So now that we have the, let's say the links, okay. We can see still some of them do not even have HTTPS, all right? And if that is the case, that's not a link. If okay, so in this case, I'm just going based off the product, okay, based off of the product. In this product, I can see all the links that has HTTPS are considered as a link at this moment. And then some of them have like, you know, this telephone number and things like that. This is still a link, but it's just telephone number. It should probably open your local FaceTime, whatever is the case, right? That's how they create this link. But we don't care about those. We only care about the real links, which has HTTPS, for example, right? So in this case, href. So if that is the case, it's fine. We can put another if inside of if, right? Or we can altogether if href dot contains, right? So something like that, we can use. So we can say if it doesn't contain HTTPS, then don't give it to me, right? So let's see how do we do it with JavaScript. If I was to go into W3 Schools, this is going to be your point of reference each time. So this is the website you're going to be using for your JavaScript. And obviously we use the latest version of JavaScript. So we're gonna see the latest version, which is gonna be ES6 2015, and then there is a lot more. So I'm gonna go ahead and do ES6. I wanna see something that will give me true or false, okay? So let's see what are some of these. We got define, keys, match, let's see, includes, okay. So let's see, it says text include this, then return true. Okay, so that's good. I'll go ahead and copy this. And then I'll go ahead and say something like this, href includes, okay, include HTTPS or HTTP, right? Either one. Okay, so you can say HTTP, so it'll also, you know, count those that have HTTPS also. So now let's see what happened. We just filtered it. You guys understood how this worked, right? This works with a string, right? This returns a string of the href, right? So let's go ahead and run it and see what happened next. Okay. Okay, so now we got everything that has HTTP. I don't see any bad links, okay? Look, I don't see any bad link here. Okay. Okay, good. So now that we have this, we can work inside of it, right? Because we know that inside of these, all the links that will show up is come already filtered. If it doesn't have HTTPS, it will not work. Okay. So far, so good. We good, right? We all good?
Yep.
Okay. So now I can say const response. So each one will have their own response. Okay, so I'm just creating a variable response of something, right? I can say await, and I can say like, okay, page dot go to, and I can basically just visit this href and that's it. Because this href that is coming here, it's gonna be refined. It's not gonna be anything other than, all right. I can probably just change that to link. Okay, I'm gonna change the name so you guys can kind of get the idea here. Okay, so it will visit the link, right? So in this case, it will visit and it will give you a response. So once you visit the link, you know, obviously we want to make sure if response is 200. Every time you visit a link, what's behind the scene happen, it gives you 200 if it's okay, right? So what does 200 means? So HTTP code 200, right? And you can see that 200 means it's working. It's okay, it's success. We can also handle API. We can also use API side, right? So let's see API testing. Boom, boom, API testing right there. And all of them will be a GET request. So as you can see, we can actually, we don't have to do the configuration there. We can go directly and go ahead and do request.get. Okay, that's the way we can do. But we can also do it the go-to. It will still give us the response. Okay. So in this case, I can say if the response is not equal to 200, so I can say something like that. Oh. So first of all, if there is no response whatsoever, or, okay, if the response dot status, okay, it's not equal to 200, okay, then I consider this as a failure, okay? That means this link actually failed, right? So I can say console.log found a broken link. So we will want to print something like link status, maybe something like this, response dot status, and you can even provide more information. But for now, let's keep it like this, okay? So far, so good. We're writing a little bit more than out of our comfort zone because at work, you'll never find a easy test case, okay? It'll be hard, but again, this will teach you something. I'm gonna go ahead and remove other console logs. We don't need this log, okay? All right, let's see. Okay, one pass, and this is from the last, okay. What is the cannot read property of null status? So status is not working. So maybe like we have to do page.get actually, get request. I'm gonna just look at the documentation. So we got the path, the post, we have to say request. And we also have to actually, I don't know if we have to import the request because we have to import it. Okay, so there will be a little bit of looking into the documentation. How many people know what the API request means before I go dive into it? Anybody know what API is? What is API?
API is a link, like it's connect to with I mean, when you hit the request, right, it should send you a result, right? The request response. I mean, it's a request and response, right?
Okay. Everybody else know what API is, right? So I can ask you guys. So let's start working with Jaidul. What is
I
an
don't.
API?
Jewel,
Mhm.
I believe API means application programming interface. So basically, when you're sending a request, you should be hearing something back from the other side, right? If it's accepting, if it's not accepting. So basically, the HTTP is going to give you a list of all the status codes, right? And they range from 100 to, I believe, 400. So each code, each number rather, indicates certain status. So if you're getting a 404, for instance, that means it's, it's an error, that there's something wrong with the page. Like we mentioned, the 200 that we just got, it means that the page is okay. That means it's accepting, it's communicating with each other. Right?
Okay, so yes, that is true. And the way for you to know what API, so anytime you go to an application, like for example, Amazon, you see that in the network tab in your developer tool, you got the console, you got the source, you got the network. On the network tab, you see 200, 200, 204, but majority of them you'll see 200. Okay, so all the items and things that Amazon has to offer is displaying because of these things, right? These requests going into servers could be somebody else's server, right? But the reason why they're sending these requests is because they want those data to come back. Maybe the picture is coming from another server, like these images. We don't know where the image is coming from. Maybe like the information about how much is the price of each item is coming from another server. So to show you, if I click on, let's say, let's do a search, okay? Let's do a search of a laptop or something. Look, immediately before I click, I'm gonna clear out everything and I'm gonna click on laptop. And immediately you can see 200. You can see the search happen. If I go to the header, I can see that it was a post request and it has a response, okay? So maybe the response is continued here somewhere, but the payload may be a bit bigger, so it doesn't show here, but at least we can see what the request went in, right? So we can see that it was, these are the data, just by me searching on the thing, this is the data that it was sent to the server, and in return, server actually gave some information back, which is the this information like the laptop and things like that. Okay, so this actually triggered more than just one thing. You can see they even have ads by Google showing up here. So if there's any ads on the right side, this came from Google, right? And you can see the preview, sorry, headers, you can see 200, okay. So at least it's pretty safe for us to say if we look for 200 for each of this link, we are gonna be fine in this case. All right, so let's see. So we gotta change these to requests. So I just wanna see, await request, I believe, HTTP Playwright, okay, Playwright request, okay. Dot get, okay, and then it's gonna be link. So I'll replace the other part with this, do it right here. I'm sorry, copy, control this, okay, and then if I go to the request.get, I can actually see a bit more information on how to use this, right, on Playwright. So if I go in there, I can go to request, and on the request, not this request.get. So as you can see, get request will go ahead and give you information, and then what are some of the attributes that we can use in order to validate the response. Okay, it will give you promise response, and then so we got the URL. Okay, and then let me see if the status is now still good to go as response dot status. Okay, now it's good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and run this real quick. Okay, so get is unhealthy. Let's see what it says. Request is not a function. So let's see, the request was added right here, and then it's not a function. Okay, so I just want to see how the request is being used from Playwright. So I'm going to go to the API testing to see a sample. It's not very good sample, so we might end up doing some searching, like researching. Locator, okay, right. Documents. API testing, okay, good. Introducing API testing. We're just interested right now at the only at the get request. These are all the config. So I don't know if we don't need to add all this stuff. We don't really need all of that for now. So you can see await request.get, and that's it, right? And then I just want to see this works. I will still have to do username and password. Base URL, export default config. Okay, so that we don't need this because we don't have any token just yet. So this should work. Request.get should actually work. Copy this, and I just want to see what did I wrote. Request.get link, and we don't need this extra one. So we didn't write anything extra here. Expose API that can be used for web API testing. So I wonder if you're missing any import here. So we did the import API request. So I don't understand why this is saying request is not a function. Okay. Let me just Google this for a second. That's not the outcome I was thinking. This could be, we have to have context in here. Let's see, context. This is not
Sujot,
that
a
one.
quick question. What's the
Mhm.
meaning by 3 equal to 200? 3 equal?
What's the meaning of double equal?
No, you put the 3 equal.
I know. This is an interview question. You have
Mhm.
double equal
So double equal
versus
is equal is suppose
three equal.
is if I put 5 plus is equal should be 5.
Mhm.
It means
So,
it's true.
so you're comparing double
Mhm.
equal for comparison, right?
Yeah.
It will only return true or false, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in JavaScript, triple equal is the same thing. Both of them are doing the same work. The difference is the double equal is very strict. It not only care about the data, it also care about the data bytes, and it could be to us, it could be the same string, but it could be a different byte, right? It could be like, for example, a number could be maybe a different data types, but looks the same, or they're different data position. It could be like, let's say, you know, like double equal, not only that it cares about apple to apple, it also cares about where are the apple coming from. Okay. Triple equal, I guess this is a better example. Triple equal doesn't care about where the apple coming from. It could be coming from, you know, a basket, or it could be coming from like somebody's pocket. It's only gonna compare apple to apple. Like if it's an apple, that's it. Okay. So basically this 200 may not be you know, stored in the same exact kind of memory space, right? It could be a different, you know, it could be different bytes, but it's still 200, but then it will fail it. It will say it's not the same. So that's why we use triple equal in JavaScript. So if you actually, let's look at the book definition. And it's only in JavaScript. So you can see double equal in JavaScript is used for comparing two variables, but ignores the data types of the variable, right? So it doesn't care about the data types. And triple equal is for comparing two variables, but also check data type. Obviously, we want to check data type. If it's let's say, you know, integer, then we want to care about the integer also. The equality, but anyways, in my view, I use more double equal than triple equal than the double equal. Now, single equal is what? I'll remove this from here. What is single equal? We have it right here. We got the single, double, and triple equal.
Single equal is used to assign the value?
Exactly. It's as for assignment.
True.
It contains the value. Okay, so now in order for us to use the request, I believe we have to, I mean, let's see what's the deal, because I'm following the exact way that they are asking us to follow. Maybe we are gonna need to add, I just want to see my setting here. Define config, import define config. Okay, define config is there. And then we need export define config, use proxy. Okay. Where's first try? I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Sorry, use proxy, and then we don't really need the proxy honestly, because it's so if your test needs to be run behind the proxy, so we don't really care about that. This is the base URL that that we should be using. Okay, so we do need this actually. All request goes to the same endpoint, blah blah. So we got the use part in our, yeah, we got the use part. So we need to talk about the base URL. You can see right here. And we need to also do maybe some sort of JSON here, but base URL should be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, undo this one. And then we need to find our base URL, which is the insurance demo website. That should be our base URL, and I don't think we need anything else from the description, because we're not using all of it. Like for example, these settings right here, we actually need it for actual work, but not for this instance. It doesn't need any sort of token. Okay, let's see if this actually activates the API usage on our side. Okay, where is this double? Oh, did I write it somewhere? Okay. Okay, yeah, this is the case. Okay. For the API, maybe we need to, API context. Okay. We don't need to have the same contract, but let's see. Okay. All right, so that's one thing, right? Okay, so we're gonna probably come back to this in a minute. I don't know why API side is not working, but the second option is to visit directly. So we'll just visit for now, and then we'll come back to this in a minute. Okay, so instead of saying request, we can say page. We can say page dot go to page or go to link, and then so it will basically visit each link, and we can probably also see that doing it. Okay, and it'll happen so fast that we're probably gonna have to put some sort of wait. So I'm gonna say wait page dot wait for like some sort of timeout, wait for like 5 seconds maybe. So every 5 seconds it will visit something, or every second maybe. So it's faster. I don't have to do that. So this is the other option, which I would probably avoid because it's unnecessary visiting. If we can use the API, it's gonna be more efficient. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see. And then I'm gonna just add it just to make sure that we can see. Okay, and on the second one, it failed. You see, it says link element.get attribute. So some of them we're not gonna be able to get attribute. Because, okay, let's see. If it's like empty, we're not gonna get attribute from it. So I need to put a check inside of it too. So this should be probably inside. Okay. If link element is not empty, right? So that's what we have to think about. Control C, link element. If it's like not null or something, if it's only if it's that, then we want to do this. So we have to select because why? Because this link has to have access here and it doesn't have it. And this has to be outside. So link, and then we no longer have to. Specify, so now all over, the link has access all over the place. Okay. Let's run it. See what just happened. Okay, so that's one link visited, second link visited, and then done. So why that is the case, it could be something else, right? Because it could be like if this, or, okay, I'm gonna say link element dot toString maybe. The link element. Href equals this. Okay, so if it doesn't have a href, then we don't want it, right? So we can say something. What does that? Element, okay. So check for href. If it doesn't have it, then we don't want it. So we have to put another if in there because some of them don't have href. So let's troubleshoot this because then we can kind of understand what just happened here. So we see where it says get attribute is So element handle get attribute execution context was destroyed most likely because a navigation call. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not the fault of the URL. It's actually what's happening every time it visits the new URL, it removes the context. Okay, so that means the browser, you see, execution context was destroyed because we navigated. We actually went to a website, that's why. Okay. And now, so this adds more complexity here. So before visiting, we'll probably go ahead and put those links into an array. So we have to do, I guess, second option. So as you can see, I had no idea that this is Playwright is actually going to go ahead and just do this to us, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna select link equal to this, okay? And if that is the case, before visiting, what I want to do, I want to go ahead and push the link into this. Okay, so link is equal to this doesn't help. We have to push. So okay. So let's give you guys a tour here. So let's say we go to our W3 schools again. Okay, and then we have to know how do we push to an array. So let's find an array, okay? Boom, 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 right here, array sort, array search, array right there. That's why you guys know how to, you guys have to know how to program, right? So this is an array. We want to create this. As you can see, you can create a new array just like this. For now, our one is empty. So then how can we push item to an array? Let's go down. Oh, wow, look at that. We can add an element and then we can provide the value, okay, to the array. But what we need is that we need to, instead of knowing the location, we don't care about the location. We want to go ahead and push it, right? We want to be able to like continue to add a value to the array. So let's see, what is the push function I'm looking for? Array push. This is one way. Let's see. This is that. New array is this. Point, okay. Types of fruit. Okay, but there is a push function. Maybe I'll go ahead and Google it. Array push JavaScript. Okay. Push to an array is very easier to find. Okay, there we go. Okay. So what we are doing here is that we're going to use the push function QE, right? Instead of QE, I want to add like maybe like Playwright. Okay. This is your existing array. So if I click on run, it actually added the Playwright here. It's just outputting, right? So we just have to use the push and that's it. So I'll go ahead and say, let's go ahead and remove this. Okay, so link dot push, and I just want to push this whole href every time, right? So now this guy is an array and it has, you know, all the links, okay, all the links in this case, right? So now we can, I'm gonna go ahead and move this away for now. So if I was to visit every single link, I can say something like this. So let's see array access first, right? So if I was to access one item from the array, maybe one at a time, I will need, okay. Let's go back to array real quick. Just array. JavaScript, okay. Array, regular array. So if I was to like get one item from the array, I would have to use the number right here, okay? So that gives me in order in which they are in. So first, let's see if our array first populated, okay? And then we can deal with it, because the whole reason why we're doing that, because if we visit the website, it automatically forgets, right? It forgets about the context, so it will fail our test the first visit, after the first visit. So we want to make sure we store the array. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and print out all of the items maybe in the array. So I'm going to say console.log and see how many items there is, link dot maybe length. So it'll give us like the numbers of links that we have total, okay? And then we'll go from there. I think we don't need this, okay? So that's the first thing we want to figure out before we can visit them. Okay, there we go. Total, boom, boom. Who can tell me why this happened? Total is 250, but then we got one. It's because we are inside of the loop still, okay? We're still inside of the loop. We have to get out of the loop, and this guy has to be outside of the loop too. Okay, so I'm gonna have to put these outside, and I have to be also go outside of this array, paste it, and I'll remove this extra one. Okay, so let's see. It should be 250. That's the count that I was hoping to see. Okay, so 250 right here is matching with the actual numbers of link. Okay, so so now before we visit, we can actually put some sort of checks, right? And now that we have a complete list of items to visit, we can now say await page dot visit, blah, 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 all that stuff. But before we do that, I want to make sure we're doing it for every single one of them. So I can say for, I can say int, sorry, not int, const link. So each one is a link. So I'm going to say li. I'm going to say ELE, right, inside of the for link, right? Because that's the element, just like this. Oh, sorry, off. Right, and then so each one inside of this, we're gonna call it ELE at a time, right? You know what? Again, I'm gonna rename this so nobody is confused. Links that's pushed, so it just pushed it. So this is for link, which is single, and then we got the links. We're gonna say if link and link dot include, remember, includes HTTP, only then go ahead and visit. So we're just eliminating any unnecessary stuff. So I'm gonna say await page dot go to, and I will say like the link, okay? And we should be good at this moment, and I can say await page dot wait for something, right? Wait for timeout, put like 1 second between them, so we know every second is going to a new link. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Link.length, okay, somehow it didn't like it. Link is not defined. Who can tell me what's the problem here? Here. All right, because remember we changed the name. We forgot to update this also. This is the array. Like because this is an array, I put S to kind of. So as you can see, mistakes is always made, and that also becomes a learning opportunity. So 1 second, okay, second, 2 seconds. Let's see. It's just going through every single link. Okay, so go to didn't work for something. So as you can see, navigate to tell something, right? So why is this wait until load? So for some reason, this link right here, it doesn't have HTTP, so it's trying to go to this link also. So if it's a link and it includes HTTP, then only then, right? So why did it bypass my check? That is the question. Okay. It's because of this. Okay. So this whole thing didn't work because it's if I say include, right, I'm gonna see what it takes. Includes takes a string. But what did we put? We didn't put any string. Search parameter is gonna be a string. Okay. So now it should not care about this one. Let's go ahead and run it again, and it should actually work. But let's see. Can be 100%. Point to about. Okay, let's see which one. The Tela. What? Why is this includes? Okay, so we got the link. We do have the if here. Oh, okay. Guys. The logic here. Okay, let's read this logic. Then you'll know what is the problem here. The long pipe is called pipe, right? Sorry, the long two thing is called pipe. And why do we use the pipe? Who can answer this? Why do we add the pipe? Guys, I need a answer. Come on, everybody's here. I'm the one who's talking, going through this trouble. I want you to look at line number 20 and tell me the logic. If I say pipe means or, then maybe it's a hint.
So you're using for the comparing or because link equal to or but we don't put anything for the compare. Maybe I'm wrong.
Should be 250. So it's gonna be a while, 250 seconds. Okay, so now we gotta put the assertions in the meantime, right? So it's doing its job. So let's see. Serving HTML, blah, blah. Okay, it did the thing. Okay, so what happened here is the timeout, test timeout. So test timeout is only 600 something. I'm gonna probably increase it. Double the timeout. Okay, so anytime you need to make any sort of configuration change, it has to be here. Okay, so I'll go back to my task. Okay, so let's go ahead and put like a variable const res is equal to this. It just means response, right? I'm just gonna say console.log every time. Log. I just want to see res.status. If it has any, it should actually. So let's see. If I can say something like this. Maybe I'll just go ahead and bring to the internal outs, but okay. Link this worked and the status is let's see what just happens. Control C. Okay, doc status is not even okay. So maybe the status doesn't even, let me see what's the output from this. I have to know the data first before I can. Okay, so it's returning null, object and object. Okay. Yeah, some of them have null. That's why it's not working. I can say something if res only then. Only then do this sucker. Let's see. Okay, that's good. a second. There. I believe it's gonna be like this. Response, okay. So now it should give us some sort of response. Oh, there you go. You got the 200, remember? So it worked. So now let's say if it doesn't give you else, you can say like something else, right? It failed. So you can put assertions here too if you want. You can say did not work or return 200, right? Or something. So you can say it didn't work or whatever is the case. All right, almost done, guys. So any questions? Because there will be one more homework. So
I'm a little lost here, to be honest with you.
yeah, it's more
Can we-
about.
Me too, total.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through line by line, I guess.
If not today, can we at least next week? Yeah, day after
Yeah,
tomorrow,
next
can we
class
go over
maybe it
this?
would be.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. So for that to happen, we need to learn a little bit programming. So remember, we skipped programming altogether to be where we are today. We learned how to write automated tests. We're comfortable with Git. I think we have one more items left for the. We actually have two more items. One is to learn how to do API testing, and then second is the programming. Then you can basically be out there, start looking for jobs. So I estimate in the 4 weeks of time spent, the next 4 weeks, we should be done. If you are somebody who still feel iffy and not comfortable pulling code and not comfortable writing tests the way we're writing now, then I would say go back because you don't want to finish the class and at the end, you really don't know anything. I am going to be testing for knowledge at the end of the session. Like, so we're, as I said, 4 weeks, if anything, maybe like maximum, 5 more weeks left. At the end, I'm going to test for knowledge, right? So do a final homework, and then if everybody's good, then, we're going to be start looking for jobs. So again, those who already working, and if you're trying to go into automation position, then I'm gonna help you on that. But those who doesn't have a position right now, then I'm gonna be helping you also. And then people that are new, I'm gonna also guide you to get into your first job. Okay. But I need the final homework also to make sure that it's done. And for that to happen, you make sure that you keep up with so far what we did. That's definitely gonna be helpful. So let me just go through this code real fast, and then we're gonna basically finish for today. So we have multiple loops here, right? So starting from right here, this one by default gives us an array, and it returns array of elements. Okay, remember $1 means one item. We're getting only a single element. Multiple $sign means we're getting more than one element. So that's why it has to be in an array form. Now, in JavaScript, if you want to go through each and every single item in an array, you can use a for loop. Okay, so this for loop starts here and it ends here. That's it. So in this for loop, all we are doing is that if the link element exists and it's not empty or null, then we are just grabbing the href. That's it. We're grabbing the href, but then we're using push method. Again, remember, this is your empty array. This has nothing in it, but we're pushing each time. We're pushing each time that we're going through the loop. So the first time it goes, it finds the first element. It grabs the href from that element and it pushes it here. Okay. The second time, it's just the same thing until the entire element list is done. So that's why we get 250 URLs inside of these links. Okay. So this is, again, beginning here, ending here is done. Then we have another for loop, and we have so many if and else in it. So these for loops basically starts here and ends here. So we're saying the same thing because the links is an array. This links is an array. That means more than one link in it. We're saying that we want to go through each one of them inside the links array. So now in here, we're saying that the first time this loop goes through, link is equal to the first item. The second time it goes through, link is equal to second item from the links, okay? And so on, right? All the way to until there is no more elements in the links. So far, you guys are with me?
Yep.
Okay, good. So now, because all the links here are not good, like there are some links that are not really good because of the phone number or maybe that's on hashtag, whatever is the case, we want to filter them. We want to basically remove any bad ones. So then we have a logic flow here. The first one is that we're saying if a link exists and the link has HTTP, then we consider that's a good link. Only then anything inside of these blocks, starting here to and closing here will work. Sorry, starting here and ending here. So all this code will only run if this is true, if this condition is true. So now we're saying if this is true, then the next thing we want to do, we want to find the response of visiting each link. Okay, we get the response, but sometimes you get no response because it wasn't a valid URL. It was probably the main base URL, so it doesn't have any, right? So the first two ones that you can see, it doesn't have any response. So we're saying if the response is there, then we want to then print out this message. If the response is not there, then we want to still print this message to say it didn't work. Okay, so that means the response could be null, it could be empty, it could be like doesn't have any value at all. If that is the case, then we want to go ahead and do something else, if and else. That's it. This is just a wait. This is like inside of the loop. So we're saying wait 1 second every time this loops is going through. Okay, so now and that's pretty much it. Like this is after the loop, that's it. This is just the main. As you can see, like less than half page of code actually testing 250 links. And you can probably do a lot more with these links, you know, not just like checking for status, you can actually go through each page and after visit, you can actually check for titles or you can check for a common thing. Maybe like if all of these links have something in common, then you can check like, what does all of these websites have in common? Every website that are out there, guys, tell me, like even this website, you go to inspect, if you go all the way to the top, you can see it has a head. You can see it has a HTML. So you can check for items like head and HTML. If it does have a head and HTML, then you can consider that the application, that link worked. You can go even furthermore, depending on the patterns that you're looking for. Okay, you can also look for a specific keyword in the application to say it worked or it didn't work. Okay. With Selenium, we do it very differently. That's why I was like in the beginning, like with Playwright, I had to actually go and look into the Playwright .dev documents because it's like very different way we're handling the same thing, right? Where Selenium it would be a little bit different. Okay, so you guys understood this, right? Any question? Okay, no question. Okay, so let's do the homework real quick. And this is gonna probably, this is okay. This homework, guys, I'll tell you. I'm gonna trust you And I'm going to leave it up to you because obviously the first homework that we talked about, we want that. But this is for you for ongoing learning. This is going to be something, but I'll tell you the technique that I used to learn JavaScript. Okay. So you're going to go to this website. It is free, Code Academy. And I think some of you guys did that already. So I'm going to log into mine real quick to show you guys. Okay, so now here you can actually learn just more than, anything other than JavaScript also. But what I'm interested in here is JavaScript. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got like 7 items here. I think these are free. And if you pay for it, you get more, but we don't really want to, we're fine with the free items at this point, right? So now if I go to catalog and go to JavaScript, and I can start right away. I don't have to, I don't have to pay for anything, so I should be fine. But then, you got multiple selections. So this has been changed since the last time I've seen it. So I'm actually also new here, just like you. So I'm gonna click on this. It's in progress, 15 hours. So, okay, so beginner friendly. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this JavaScript. And then you can see 4% was done, okay? And I'm gonna resume the course real quick. I should probably start, okay. Okay, so now that you're here, I think this is from the beginning, okay, good. So now that you're here, you already know how VS Code works and we can write code there. But for the learning purposes, they already have where you can type the code and it will give you the outcome on the right side. Because they don't want you to like mess around in VS Code way too many times. They just want you to learn very quickly. This is something is going to change you to be more and more technical. What I did for me to learn JavaScript, let me just kind of breaking it down for you guys. Okay. Honestly, I had a Saturday and a Sunday, okay? And I started more in the morning, like maybe like 9 a.m. And I finished like each day, like I would say 10 to like 11 p.m. each day, okay, for 2 days. Only 2 days, right? And in these 2 days, I probably did 70%, not 100%. And I only did the free part. I didn't want to pay for it and go more depth, right? I did only 70%. And for more reason, it's because I use there are other online resources also. So I don't have to like go all into this course. But the 70% that I learned and was good enough for me to actually work with JavaScript. Okay. So why did I say in just 2 days? It's because it's really, really up to you. You can actually use 2 days to learn JavaScript, or you can spend 6 months to do the same thing. And the reason why is because when you sit down and you learn, let's say you make progress of 10% today, and then 3 weeks later, you sit down again and you try to do another 10%, you'll forget the first 10%. So if you see this as a boot camp, find your 2 days in the week. It doesn't have to be weekend. And I would say go through this course while you already have knowledge of your Playwright. And this is going to make you into a programmer, because when you're going through the course, they have no mention of Playwright. There is no mention of Playwright here. They will strictly teach you code, and that's it. Okay. And this code will basically make you more, aware of the code that I wrote today. You would also understand it. So my suggestion, again, you want to probably, even if you get a job tomorrow as a automation engineer, you're going to come back to this at some point. You're going to do it, whether I ask you or somebody else asks you, right? Even at work, if your manager notices you that you're lacking programming concepts, you don't know programming, but you know how to write automation, he's going to give you that as a goal. He's gonna say your 3 months goal is to finish this course, and he's gonna want screenshots every 2 weeks. Okay, if he's a good manager, basically. So if he's a good manager, he's gonna say, okay, here's the course the company purchased, and I want you to finish 2 chapters every 2 weeks. And you can use the company time. You can use like 2 hours or 4 hours per week from the company's time. You don't have to use your own time. And that's what they will do if they're good managers. That they care about if you're already doing a good job, they wouldn't really want to let you go just because you don't know how to program. So my recommendation to you, this is one of the best courses because when you look to the left side, it gives you breakdown what this means, right? The first portion is like what with example, what the what console.log and math.random means, right? Once you have it, then it says, okay, now I want you to do it. Now you have instruction. So there's 2 parts that you need to understand. One part is that learning your lessons. So you read it, you understand it, and then on the instruction, it will say, now I want you to write console.log, create a random number in the console.log, basically, sorry, in the inside of it, right here. Okay, so if I run it, as you can see, it created a random number. So you can see math.floor. So it says use the math.floor, okay, not the random. So my icon gets used by a lot of people, so I don't know who reset this, but if I do math.floor, I can remove this. That's the first option, as you can see. Click on run, NaN. Okay, as you can see, it didn't work. Okay, the first one worked, random and multiply by this one worked, and then now you use math.floor to make output a whole number. Okay, so let's see, 100 again, math.floor. Let's look at the example. So let's say I made a mistake right there. Now I can say floor. Now looks like it takes parameters of math.random. Okay, and then I can do like 50, whatever is the case. So it says it has to be 0 to 50, so I can say like 50 at this point, and I can go ahead and run it. And as you can see, oh, did I make a mistake here? Okay.
One
Let's
parenthesis
see.
after the random. Extra parenthesis after the random.
Oh, right there. Okay. Okay, missing. Okay, argument. I'm missing one more parenthesis right here. Okay, so that's good. You get the similar kind of exceptions that you'll have to read and kind of fix your code. So click on run, and now I got 43. If I run it again, 15. So it's just gonna give you like random numbers and stuff. So notice like in my first one, I got it correct. The second one, I didn't get it correct, and now it's you know, it's asking me if I used it or not, and I did use it. So I'll probably have to refresh it. So sometime, because this is a browser based, you'll have to deal with the browser related issues and then move forward with your course. Notice if you do make mistakes of 5 times, it will then reveal the answer. So I would say try to not make too many mistakes. Just read and do it on your 3rd try, and don't go beyond 3rd tries. This is something that I would say, you know, if you want to take 2 days and get it done 70%, or if you want to take 2 months and get it done, it could be up to you. But the benefits that you're going to get right now, if you spend 2 days and kind of learn the JavaScript, it's going to be huge because you're already writing automated tests. That is something that I left out, but maybe we're going to cover on the next one of the, when we get to the JavaScript part. So what I usually do for teaching JavaScript, I actually go through this syllabus. So I would say you can probably get a head start by Codecademy. I cannot go through Codecademy because again, it takes a long time just to go through one chapter because I have to do all these things. Actually, we have to do all these things. But that's why what I do is I use the VS Code, but then I go through these topics, all of these topics, and that's how my class goes for JavaScript. So we'll do that in the future as far as we right now comfortable pushing and pulling code. We doing the review as a homework. Everybody's reviewing each other's code. Make sure your pull request gets approved and merged. And if you do have extra time, obviously I'm not giving any other homework. try to start with Code Academy, because sooner or later we're going to get to this part. And this is going to be the last few classes, guys, because if you can write test automation right now, but then you may lack on the complex logic and dealing with complex, situation with your test cases, and programming is going to help. And so that's why I'm going to be focusing on programming in the next upcoming classes more, unless we have to revisit some of the previous classes. You probably noticed already, I'm only touching things that we need to do our job at work, nothing else, nothing more. I'm not going on SQL because the chances of you becoming a database tester is going to be narrow. We're going to only focus on one tool, Playwright, put it on our resume. We're going to try to get jobs on Playwright because there are plenty of jobs, and go from there. And then at some point in your career, if you want to go into more like, database testing and so on, you can learn that. But for now, we cannot target everything. We have to target what we are expert in, which we're going to be an expert on Playwright when your resume is out there looking for jobs. And obviously JavaScript is something that you'll have to learn. And so the next few classes will be just JavaScript, pure JavaScript, nothing to do with Playwright. But I would say continue writing a few test cases per day to keep your practice going. We'll probably touch more complex, test cases that we can come up with as an example to make sure that we can handle those as well. Okay. With that said, guys, I will end the day.
I have a question. Sorry, before you end. So for the homework part, right? If we get approved from the reviewer,
You can
merge it. Okay.
Yeah.
And the next
but then if you see any conflict, you have to resolve the conflict.
Got it. I have a request. Is it possible you could merge what you did today to the GitHub so we can take a look at the code you worked on?
I'll push. Yeah, it's gonna be the same file name. It's gonna be in master, so you can push it.
Okay.
You can actually pull it.
Thank you.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. See you guys on the next class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.